Hello, welcome to my channel. In this video, I am going to explain why the VLOOKUP and other lookup functions do not work. There are many issues, and I'm going to list three of them today, and I'll be explaining in depth how can you master the VLOOKUP and if those issues arise and how you can fix them. In this very first example, I'm going to show you that whenever you are going to use the VLOOKUP function, your lookup value must be in the leftmost column. So in this example, if you try to do the VLOOKUP, this is my lookup value and this is my lookup array. If I try to perform, if I try to bring the first name, it is always going to result in an error. The reason being the VLOOKUP is designed in a way that it has to match the lookup value in the leftmost column. So in this instance, our lookup match column is in column K, which is the rightmost at the moment. But if I bring it in here and write the formula again, the same formula, it will bring in the result. So here it is. So this is very common problem the newbies make, that they forget basically the VLOOKUP has to be the leftmost column. The second problem which arises is always we forget to lock the lookup array table, and whenever we drag the formulas right or left, it loses the table, and once it loses the table, results in an error. So this is a very common problem. The first one, the lookup match value column must be the leftmost, and you have to lock I mean you have to use the absolute references. By pressing the F4 key, you can insert them, or either by typing the dollar sign manually and then bringing the formula down. So this is the first problem, the VLOOKUPs. Another way is to do this. All this is the most easiest if you do not want to change your columns. Simply you can use the most powerful function in the previous versions. Currently the XLOOKUP is the quite powerful, but in the previous versions, the index and match function, that is very easy to learn and way more dynamic and powerful, and will never break even if you insert the columns. It is basically combination of two formulas, index and match. And index, just to keep in mind, just to remember easily, index is always going to be the column, the row where your result is. So my result is in the first name column, so I will insert my first range here. I'll lock it by pressing the 4, then I'll insert the match function. It is quite similar to VLOOKUP. It has three arguments: lookup value, lookup array, and match type. What it does is it basically brings the raw number or column number in an array. So this is what we require. We have to tell where is our match. This is our lookup value and this is our lookup array. As you can see, the IDs are in column A, and in the lookup table they are in column K. So I am going to close parentheses and insert. So as you can see, even if the column is the rightmost, the match column is the rightmost, even then it is bringing a result. So this is how this thing works, and you have to just a little bit careful and remember that index and match. I'm going to write it again for you, and index is this column. Here is my result, and this is my lookup value, and this is my match column. Sorry, this is the lookup value, and this is the match array, and 0 is used for an absolute exact match, and it is going to bring me the results. So this is what you can do if you do not want to change over the columns in your original data sets. This is the second most common problem we face when we do the lookups. In this example, I have everything set up for VLOOKUP, and my lookup value and my lookup table. As you can see, in lookup value is in the leftmost column, so there shouldn't be any problem. Let me lock this and also lock the column A. So here you can see, although I have this very same value in right here, but it is not bringing me the result. This is where the diagnosis part comes in. You have to be you have to check that why it is not bringing in the result. But once you hit the F2 key, you'll notice that there is a space, there is a trailing space, and in this lookup value there is no space. Apparently visibly it is not showing us any difference, but once you check it out, there is another way to check it out. Just copy the lookup value, paste, and then match the entire cell content, and if there is an exact match it will find, otherwise it will tell us that there is no exact match containing the exact cell value for the value we are trying to find. So there is another way to check if there are some issues in the lookup value, because if they do not match, the formula is never going to bring in the results. So there are a couple of things you can use. You can either use the trim function to get rid of the leading and trailing spaces. As you can see, as soon as I trimmed and pasted the values on the ID column, it brought in the results. So this is the very common problem we usually face. So you have to be very careful while working with such data. So if the lookup value and the match value doesn't match, the formula is always going to result. Another formula we usually use when dealing with such characters which the temp function do not clean them up, there is a formula called clean. So it will clean all those invisible non-printable characters, and once you do that, that problem usually arises when you have copied your data from a website, from a PDF file. So that formula is quite handy as well. Its name is clean, so it is easier to remember as well. The trim function will remove the leading and trailing spaces, the extra spaces. If there are two or more spaces, leading or trailing, so it will clean up the spaces, and this formula, the clean formula, will clean the non-visible characters except spaces. So you can use both of them if none of the if the first one isn't working. Another most common issue that is very hard to deal with is the format. For example, in this example, if I insert VLOOKUP, go here, so here is my formula, but it is resulting in an error. But as you can see, the 3662 is available right in here. I'm matching the whole cell content and it is finding me exactly right in here. But it is not bringing me the result. That's absolutely strange. And here you have to this is the most common issue we usually face. The reason being, if you notice, this cell has the format of text, although it is apparently looking as a number, but it is formatted as text. But this one is general. So if the format of both the values is not same, the formula is never going to bring in the results. So one way is to simply select, go to general, format the data as general, but it is never going to work in this way. You have to edit the cells, and once you edit the cells, then it will work. But there is a quick way that is very rarely taught, but it is very handy. Select the column where you want to change the format of the data, go to data table, data tab in the ribbon, choose delimited, next choose tab, next, and here you select general text date. So as my column contains already data in text, I'll choose general and click finish, and as soon as I click finished, it brought in the results. So this is the most common issues, and these are the most common issues usually arise when we perform the VLOOKUPs or any other lookup function. So let me know in the comments if you have any other similar questions, and I'll definitely going to respond to you, and even if needed, I'll make another video and explain. Thank you so much. Good day.